Hey, what's going on guys? Chris here from LO3, and today I want to talk to you about how to improve your movement. First of all, Counter-Strike is a first-person shooter, as we all know, so movement and aiming are incredibly important. The one unique thing about Counter-Strike is that your movement directly correlates to your aim. So in order to be a good aimer, you have to have good movement. So before going any further, I want to talk about what good movement is. And for this, I'm going to paraphrase from Dazed and say that if you imagine all the pixels on your screen, it's how many you can control. And we say this by saying, like, a professional player, when he's moving around, he's controlling every single pixel, every single frame of his gameplay. So they're snappy, they know where they want to move, they don't make any mistakes. And like a semi-pro or someone who's a little bit lower than that might control every other pixel or every other frame. So they're not going to be as controlled. And then people who are like silver or something like that, and you see them move around, they just look clumsy. They're not controlling any of them, or they're controlling half of every other frame, and it just, you can see when they run around, they don't look like they're in control of their character in the game. I think that's a really good example of how movement is important and how you can actually see someone and tell the difference between a good player and a bad player just on how they move, and that you should be inspired to move like the pros, move everything you do with dedication, and have an end goal of where you're trying to move to. So the first method of training your movement, I'm going to say, would be surfing. Now, surfing is probably my least favorite one, and I'm also pretty bad at surfing. And the reason I say surfing is good for movement, though, is because it really helps you pair right and left mouse movement with right and left keystrokes when you're strafing in the air. So it's like people who bunny hop or something like that, when they jump, you have to move your mouse to the right while pressing the right key in order to actually strafe in the air to the right. This can be useful for getting around maps, making difficult jumps, getting around corners. So that's why I think surfing is pretty important. So the next way to train your movement would be using KZ maps. Now, KZ maps are maps with blocks or ledges that are incredibly hard to get around, that require you to know how to strafe jump, how to crouch jump, and basically stay on small ledges while you're running. These are important just so that you, once again, learn how to control your character in the air and how to use minute movements to stay on tiny platforms, which can help you peeking angles and stuff like that. The second way to use KZ jumps would be use KZ, I don't know what the name is, KZ real maps, I'll put it on your screen. It's when you practice KZ jumps in specific layouts on real Counter-Strike maps. I highly recommend this, although it's not really important. This will help you land those tricky jumps that can give you a slight edge in competitive game modes, and it's pretty fun too. So the third way, and probably the best way there is, would be to just play the game. Playing the game actually makes you better at the game. So if you stop watching all these YouTube videos, just kidding, it really helps you improve and play better. When you're moving, make sure you really actually think about, one, your aim, and two, your movement, and be sure to be practicing things while you're playing. So maybe while you're running to a bomb site, maybe throw in a couple strafe jumps, I don't know. Running around the map usually helps. It's just one of those things where people ask me how to train game sense. The only way you can train game sense is to play the game. The only way you can train your movement is to play the game as well. Oh, and just a quick side note about bunny hopping. Bunny hopping is not important and not necessary to be a good player. West, co-founder of Live on 3, I've honestly never seen him bunny hop in a game, and I don't think he even knows how, but he is still a fantastic player, and I don't think you should be wasting time trying to learn something that's not really going to benefit you as much as if you were to work on your aim or work on your movement or work on your team play over bunny hopping. So the last method to improve your movement would be to, if you have some downtime or you're bored or you just want to relax, would be to turn on a pro stream on Twitch. Honestly, watching them is fantastic to improve your game sense, maybe give you some new ideas on how to aim, and mostly improve your movement. When you see pros play in first person, it really does have an impact on you. It'll encourage you to move like them, which is a good thing. You want to be moving and controlling every single frame, every single pixel in your game. Speaking of Twitch, insert shameless self-promotion here, as Live on 3 has created a Twitch channel and started streaming. Check us out in the description below. So that about wraps it up, guys. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, rate, and comment below if you have any questions or just anything in general. We'll be answering and reading all of them. Really appreciate it. Thanks, guys, and have a good one.